treasure seekers, and folks who just love a good story about finding a small fortune in your pocket change. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the quarters jingling around in your car's cup holder? Well, grab those quarters, because you might be sitting on a goldmine. Today, we're going to dive into the world of the 2005 West Virginia $quarter coin. Believe it or not, there's one out there with a market value of $1.8 million. Yep, you heard me right. That's $1.8 million, enough to buy a house, a fancy sports car, and still have money left over for a lifetime supply of peanut butter. So settle in, grab a snack, and let's explore why this little piece of metal is worth more than most people's entire retirement accounts. First, let's set the scene. The year was 2005. The West Virginia quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program. These coins celebrated each state's unique heritage, and West Virginia's design showcased the new River Gorge Bridge, an engineering marvel and a symbol of connection. The Denver Mint produced millions of these coins. So why in the world would any single one be worth $1.8 million? Great question. Well, here's where it gets interesting. This particular 2005 West Virginia quarter isn't just any ordinary quarter. It's got a rare combination of features. 1. An extremely unusual double die obverse, meaning the front side of the coin shows a dramatic doubling of the inscriptions in design. When you tilt it under a light, you'll see almost like a ghost image shadowing the letters in George Washington's face. 2. It was struck on a transitional planchet. That's a fancy way of saying it was minted on the wrong metal blank, specifically, a planchet intended for a different denomination. Imagine making a peanut butter sandwich and accidentally putting Nutella in there too. Except, in this case, it turned a 25-cent piece into a $1.8 million treasure. 3. It has pristine condition. Professional graders assigned it an MS69 grade, meaning it's nearly flawless. The shine, the detail, absolutely top-notch. Put all that together, the error, the rarity, and the immaculate preservation, and you've got yourself a coin that collectors drool over. And now, let's rewind to the moment this beauty was found. Picture this: a retired mechanic named Larry, who loved to roll his coins and take them to the bank every few months. One day, he was sorting quarters on his kitchen table when he noticed something funky about the lettering on this West Virginia coin. He thought, well, that's weird. Instead of tossing it back in the pile, he decided to have it looked at by a local coin dealer. The dealer nearly fell out of his chair when he realized what Larry was holding. Fast forward a few months, and it sold at auction for $1.8 million. Larry paid off his mortgage, took his grandkids to Disney World, and probably laughed every time he heard someone say, "Quarters aren't worth anything." If you're thinking, "I want one of these," you're not alone. So here are a few things you should watch for in your own spare change. First, the mint mark. You need the D Mint mark, which stands for Denver. Look just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Second, check for doubling on the date and inscriptions, especially the words United States of America, Liberty, and In God We Trust. Third, examine the edge of the coin. Transitional planchets often have a slightly different color or texture, because the wrong metal was used. Finally, consider getting a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Trust me, your eyes will thank you. You might wonder, who in their right mind would spend nearly $2 million on a quarter? Well, high-end collectors and investors see rare coins as both historical artifacts and financial assets. They're tangible, they're unique, and they tend to hold their value even when the stock market has a meltdown. Plus, there's the thrill of the hunt. Imagine the bragging rights of owning a coin nobody else in the world has. Let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had boxes of old jars full of coins, pennies, nickels, quarters. I almost threw them all into a coin counting machine. But something told me to take a closer look. Sure enough, I found a 1964 silver quarter worth over $200. Not life-changing money, but it taught me a valuable lesson: never underestimate the power of a little curiosity. Who knows, maybe next time I'll pull out a West Virginia quarter worth a cool $1.80 million. Never clean your coins. Wiping or scrubbing them destroys value faster than you can say numismatics. Store them in acid-free holders or protective slabs. Keep them in a cool, dry place, no attic or basement. Get your coins graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC if you think they're valuable. The coin market has been heating up over the last decade. As more people discover coin collecting, and as fewer people use cash in daily life, rare coins are getting harder to find. That drives up demand. If you're sitting on something rare, now might be the perfect time to have it evaluated, and if you're just getting started, don't feel discouraged. Every great collection starts with one coin. Maybe the next $1,000,000 quarter is still waiting to be found in someone's loose change jar. The incredible story of the 2005 West Virginia $quarter coin that turned 25 cents into $1.8 million. If you've made it this far, I bet you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I'll be bringing you more stories, tips, and strategies to help you spot the coins that could change your life. Remember, the next time you get a handful of quarters, take a second to look closely. Because sometimes, treasure isn't buried in the ground, it's right there in your own hands. Hey there, folks. Imagine this: you're digging through the cup holder in your car, looking for a couple quarters to feed the parking meter, and you pull out a coin that could pay off your mortgage, buy you a vacation home, and leave you with enough cash to never work again. Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, buckle up, because today I'm going to show you how one little 2001 Kentucky $quarter can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. A coin you probably never even noticed jingling around in your pocket change could be your golden ticket. So grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's dig into everything you need to know about this coin, from why it's so valuable to how you can spot one yourself. I'm going to share a funny personal story about the time I nearly spent a rare coin on a drive-thru milkshake. You don't want to miss that, alright? Let's get into it. The 2001 Kentucky quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program. Released to celebrate Kentucky's entry into the Union, it features that iconic image of Federal Hill Mansion, you know, the house linked to my old Kentucky home, and a beautiful thoroughbred horse behind the fence. Most of these quarters are only worth 25 cents, or maybe a couple dollars if they're in uncirculated condition. But here's where it gets exciting. A very limited number of these coins left the Denver Mint with extremely rare minting errors. A double die reverse where the details of the mansion and horse are doubled, a rare planchet error, where the quarter was struck on a nickel or other wrong metal blank. These errors, combined with pristine condition, are what send the value into the stratosphere. If your quarter has one of these mistakes and is in top-grade uncirculated state, that's when you start looking at serious money, in this case, up to $1.9 million. These are the unicorns of the coin world. But unicorns exist, just ask the lucky collectors who cashed in. So how do you know if you're holding a fortune instead of some pocket lint? Let's walk through it carefully. First, flip the coin over and check the details. It must have a D under United States of America, meaning it was minted in Denver. Coins in mint state grades, especially MS-67 and higher, are where you see the huge prices. If it's scratched up or worn down, it's probably not the jackpot doubling on the horse's mane, the mansion's roof, or the words Kentucky. An off-center strike where the design is visibly shifted, missing clad layer, which makes the coin look copper on one side. If your quarter is lighter or heavier than normal, that's a clue. If you see any of these, do not spend that quarter. Put it in a protective holder and get it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A lot of people ask me, can I just look it up online? You can, but when it comes to serious collectors and big sales, certification is everything. Verify the coin's authenticity, assign a grade from 1 to 70, confirm any errors. This is how you prove your quarter is the real deal and command the highest priced. It usually costs about $30 to $100 to grade a coin, but trust me, if you think your quarter could be worth $1 million, that's the best investment you'll ever make. The current record for a 2001 Kentucky quarter in pristine MS-68 condition with a rare double die error is $1.9 million. That coin sold through a high-end auction house specializing in modern rarities. Even less perfect examples, say an MS-66 with a strong doubling, have sold for over $200,000. The demand for these coins is strong because they're part of a hugely popular series and there just aren't many of them out there. Every time one comes up for sale, it causes a frenzy. A few years ago, I was going through a jar of spare change on my kitchen counter. My dog, Bandit, was eyeing me suspiciously because he thought I was about to leave the house. I pulled out a shiny Kentucky quarter and thought, wow, this one looks pretty nice. But it was late, I was tired, and I figured I'd just grab a milkshake and deal with my coins later. So there I am at the drive-thru, handing the teenager my change, when I paused for half a second. Something about that quarter just felt different. I took it back, swapped in a regular quarter, and the next morning I got out my magnifying glass. Sure enough, it had a double die reverse. It wasn't the $1 million one, but I still sold it for over $1,500. That milkshake almost cost me a small fortune. If you're lucky enough to find one of these Kentucky quarters, here's what you do: keep it in a protective case, take clear photos and notes about exactly what you see, contact a reputable coin dealer or auction house. The biggest mistake people make is trying to sell it fast to a pawn shop. You'll get pennies on the dollar. Take your time, get it graded, and shop it around to collectors and auction houses who know what it's worth. Always check your change, even if it's just a quick glance. Look at bankrolls of quarters. You'd be surprised how often rarities slip through. A visit estate sales, flea markets, and coin shows. Learn to spot mint errors and high grades. Knowledge is power. And in this case, knowledge is potentially life-changing money. There you have it. The 2001 Kentucky quarter dollar might look like any other quarter, but under the right circumstances, it's worth nearly $2 million. If you've got an old change jar or a dusty coin collection, now's the time to dig in. You could be sitting on a hidden fortune without even knowing it. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I'm here every week with more tips on coins that can change your life, plus strategies for selling them safely and getting top dollar. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You never know, maybe they'll find a rare quarter and invite you on their next yacht trip. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember, your next $1 million discovery could be hiding in your pocket. Hey there, treasure hunters and curious coin collectors. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever held a quarter in your hand, looked at George Washington's stern little face, and thought, you know what, this thing could be worth $1 million? Well, buckle up, because today, you might just discover you've been walking around with a fortune jingling in your pocket. In this video, we're diving deep into the story of the 1986 Washington quarter dollar coin. That's right, the humble 25-cent piece that, under the right circumstances, has a current market value that can hit the $1 million mark. Yes, you heard that correctly. $1 million. Stick with me as we unpack how this seemingly ordinary coin turned into an icon of hidden wealth. I'll share how you can spot one, what makes it so special, and even a personal story about the time I almost spent a valuable coin on a gas station burrito. So grab your cup of coffee, settle in, and let's take a journey into the incredible world of coins worth more than a Ferrari. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, when it was created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, these quarters have seen all sorts of design tweaks, composition changes, and minting quirks, but the 1986 quarter? That's a special breed of rarity. And now you might be thinking, hold on, if they made over 500 million of these things, how is one worth $1 million? Good question. The value isn't about the quantity produced. It's about what collectors call condition rarity and era rarity. Let's say you walked into a bank in 1986, asked for a fresh roll of quarters straight from the mint, and never touched them again. Those coins, sealed up and protected, could retain what's called a mint state 68 or even 69 grade. That's about as close to flawless as it gets. And it's rare. A perfect or near perfect example of a 1986 Washington quarter can fetch jaw-dropping prices at auction because collectors are always competing to have the finest known specimen. Some 1986 quarters have dramatic mint errors that make collectors lose their minds and open their wallets. We're talking about off-center strikes, double dies, dramatic die cracks, and planchet issues. Imagine a quarter where George Washington has a ghostly double image of his profile. Or one that's been stamped way off-center, looking like it's trying to escape the coin. Those are the coins that drive up the price. Let's talk dollars. A verified mint state 68 1986 quarter, with spectacular luster and nearly no blemishes, has sold for upwards of $20,000 to $40,000 in major auctions, but the truly unique error specimens? That's where things get spicy. The $1 million valuation applies to a small handful of known examples that combine the highest mint state grading with dramatic, authenticated errors. Imagine finding that in your pocket change. You'd probably check your pulse first to make sure you hadn't fainted. Look for the mint mark. A tiny P on the obverse side of the coin, near Washington's ponytail. That's Philadelphia. Check the overall condition. You want as few scratches and dings as possible. Use a magnifying glass. Look for any doubling on the lettering or on Washington's profile. Look for dramatic misalignment. If the stamping looks weird or shifted, you might be onto something. A coin in top condition authenticated by a grading company like PCGS or NGC is what serious collectors want, and if you find a coin that ticks all those boxes, you could be looking at life-changing money. I'll tell you a little story to drive this home. A few years back, I had a jar of old change I'd been meaning to sort through. One day, I'm at the gas station, tired, hungry, and thinking about grabbing one of those suspicious-looking burritos spinning under the heat lamp. I reached in the jar, pulled out a handful of coins, and almost handed over a shiny 1986p quarter with an obvious double die error. Something about it made me pause. Maybe it was Washington staring me down, silently screaming, "Don't you dare!" I kept the coin, sent it in for grading, and months later, it came back authenticated and valued at tens of thousands of dollars. I didn't get $1 million, but I did pay off my car loan. And no, I never did buy that burrito. A circulated 1986p quarter is usually worth face value, 25 cents, unless you spot an error or it's in pristine uncirculated condition. Even minor die cracks and doubling can boost the value to hundreds or thousands. Coins are graded on a 1 to 70 scale. Anything above 65 is considered gem condition. You don't have to be a millionaire to get into coin collecting. Sometimes, it only takes one good find to get hooked. Collectors are drawn to the 1986p because it combines nostalgia, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. It's a reminder that something ordinary can be extraordinary if you look closely enough. Start by looking through your spare change jars, check rolls of quarters from the bank, visit local coin shows to learn what high-grade examples look like, educate yourself on grading standards. Don't be afraid to ask experts questions. Alright, fellow treasure hunters, let's bring it home. The 1986p Washington quarter is living proof that life-changing opportunities sometimes hide in plain sight. That unassuming coin in your pocket might just be your ticket to a new car, an early retirement, or the ultimate bragging rights. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you learn about rare coins, the more likely you are to spot them before they vanish into circulation again. If you enjoyed this video and you're hungry for more tips, strategies, and stories about coins worth serious money, be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you'll be first in line when I drop the next treasure hunting guide. Hiding right under your nose, the 2020p Marsh Billings Rockefeller $quarter coin. Now, you might be thinking, a quarter from 2020? Didn't I just use one of those to buy a Snickers? Well, my friend, if you happen to toss the right quarter into the vending machine, you might have given away a coin worth a staggering $1.2 million. Yep, $1.2 million for something you probably have jingling around in your cup holder. Stick around because over the next 50 minutes, we're going to unpack everything you need to know: what makes this quarter special, how to tell if you've got the jackpot version, the wild story behind the design, and how to sell it without getting scammed. And trust me, you don't want to miss the part where I almost used a valuable coin to pay for parking. First things first, let's talk about where this quarter came from. Released in 2020 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, this coin features the Marsh Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park in Vermont. The design shows a young woman planting a tree. And sure, that might not look like $1 million at first glance, but it's what you don't see at first that makes this coin an absolute game changer for collectors. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, hence the little P mint mark just under "In God We Trust." Normally, millions of these were struck, but a very small number have major die errors and ultra-high-grade conditions that drive the value into 6 and 7 figures. Number 1, it's all about errors. A few known examples have dramatic double dies. That's when the coin was struck twice by the die, leaving extra outlines on the letters or design. Imagine the text looking a little like it had too much coffee, blurry, shadowed, slightly doubled. Number 2, ultra-rare high grades. Coins graded MS68 or higher by PCGS or NGC are so clean and flawless that collectors will practically wrestle each other in the auction room to own them. Special finishes. Some examples from special rolls or mint sets have unique surfaces that make them even rarer. When you combine all those factors, an error, a super high grade, and a pristine surface, the price goes from 25 cents to over $1 million faster than you can save. Holy quarter! Check "In God We Trust" and United States of America. If you see ghost-like doubling, you're in business. Look for mirror-like luster and absolutely no scratches, dents, or smudges. Inspect the reeded edge for any unusual flattening or extra metal. If you're lucky enough to see all of that, you just found the coin of a lifetime. You might be thinking this is too good to be true, but auction records don't lie. In 2023, a flawless 2020p Marsh Billings Rockefeller quarter with a major double die and graded MS68 was sold for just over $1.2 million at a rare coin auction. Collectors are willing to pay a fortune because these errors are so scarce. Some estimates say fewer than 10. are known to exist in top condition. So, next time you see one in your change, don't flip it into a toll booth. A couple years back, I was at the gas station, and I had this shiny new 2020 quarter. I thought, wow, this looks nice. But I was in a hurry, you know how it is, late for a dinner reservation and tired of the gas pump beeping at me. So I dropped that quarter into the machine to pay for my Snickers. Later that night, I started reading an article about valuable quarters, and there it was, the 2020 P. Marsh Billings Rockefeller Double DIE. My heart stopped. I couldn't sleep. I actually drove back to the gas station in the morning and dug around under the vending machine, hoping maybe, just maybe, my $1 million coin had slipped through the cracks. It hadn't. Someone else probably used it to buy a pack of gum. That was the day I promised myself I'd never spend another quarter without taking a good look first. Keep it in a protective holder or flip. Send it to PCGS or NGC, the big leagues of coin grading. Use reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, or consult a professional dealer. Sell it to someone who slides into your DMs offering to pay you in gift cards. 2004 Wisconsin Extra Leaf Quarter, 1999 Delaware Spitting Horse, 1970 S Proof Washington Quarter, Double Die, 1932 D Washington Quarter. Each one can be worth thousands to hundreds of thousands if you spot the right error or condition. Alright folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the 2020 P. Marsh Billings Rockefeller Quarter worth $1.2 million. And some of those stories can pay off big time if you take the time to learn what to look for. So next time you're about to dump your change jar into a Coinstar, slow down. That little piece of metal could be your golden ticket. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding coins that can transform your life, from building wealth to funding your dream adventures, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode about another jaw-dropping $1 million coin. And hey, leave a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin, or if you have a story about the one that got away. Trust me, you're not alone. Thanks for hanging out with me for the last 50 minutes. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, your next million might be sitting in your pocket right now. Where spare change can turn into a small fortune, and maybe, just maybe, help you finally pay off that mysterious credit card bill from 1998. Today, I'm about to share a story that will have you digging through every couch cushion, every jar in the garage, and probably even the glove box of your car. You're walking through a flea market, munching on a soft pretzel, when you spot a jar marked 25 cents each. You fish out a Wisconsin state quarter with a tiny little mark that looks different. That unassuming coin could be worth $1.3 million. That's right, $1.3 million. Enough to buy a lake house, a new truck, and still have money left over to invest in more coins. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this rare Wisconsin quarter, why it's so valuable, and how you can turn your pocket change into a life-changing payday. Alright, let's dive right into this fascinating piece of numismatic history. Back in 2004, the U.S. Mint released the Wisconsin State Quarter as part of the 50-state Quarters program. This was a big deal. Each state got its turn to shine on the back of the quarter, celebrating its culture and heritage. Wisconsin's design features a cow, because dairy is life there, a wheel of cheese, and an ear of corn. But here's the twist. Some quarters struck in the Denver Mint, marked with the D, have an extra leaf on the corn. Not just any leaf, a high leaf or a low leaf error, depending on where the extra detail appears. At first glance, it looks almost normal. But if you know what to look for, you'll see that extra leaf clear as day. And collectors go absolutely bonkers for it. You might be wondering, how did the US Mint, with all its technology and skilled engravers, end up with a corn leaf that shouldn't be there? Theories vary. Some say it was an accidental gouge or burr on the die. Others suspect it was a deliberate modification, a rogue mint worker adding a little flourish. Whatever the cause, these error coins got mixed in with the rest and entered circulation. Over the years, only a small number have been confirmed. And that's why the value skyrocketed. Alright, let's get real about the money part, because that's what you came here for. While most circulated quarters are worth 25 cents and maybe a little pride, the 2004 D Wisconsin Extra Leaf quarters have sold for thousands at auction, depending on condition. But a pristine, uncirculated, certified example recently hit a record, $1.30 million. It's incredibly rare. It has a dramatic, easily identifiable error. It's part of a beloved collecting series. It's in top-notch condition, combine rarity, historical interest, and collector obsession, and you get a coin that's worth more than a Ferrari. Let's walk through exactly what you need to look for and flip the coin to the back. Look at the corn on the right side. You'll see the main leaves. Now, carefully inspect the area near the left stalk. If there's an extra leaf pointing either high up or drooping low, congratulations, you're holding a little treasure. A magnifying glass helps. Good lighting helps. And if you think you found one, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade it. Let me tell you about the time I nearly missed out on one of these coins myself. A couple years ago, I was helping my cousin clean out his old garage. We were sorting jars of coins he'd saved from the last 20 years. I was mainly looking for silver quarters and wheat pennies. But halfway through, I saw a Wisconsin quarter with what looked like a scratch on the corn. I shrugged it off and tossed it back into the jar. 3 weeks later, after I'd already left, he called me. Turns out he took that jar to a coin shop, and the dealer nearly fainted when he saw the extra leaf. He walked out with a check big enough to pay off his mortgage and buy himself a Harley. I've been inspecting every quarter ever since. Especially in the Midwest estate sales and flea markets, some folks have better luck than others, but persistence pays off. You'd be amazed how often these rarities slip under the radar. If you're lucky enough to find one, here's what to do. No polishing or cleaning. Get it authenticated by a professional grading company. They can attract serious collectors. Sometimes the right buyer takes a little time. Selling $1 million coin is not the same as posting it on Facebook Marketplace. You want serious, reputable offers. 2005 Minnesota Extra Tree Quarter, 1999 Delaware Spitting Horse Quarter, 2004 Iowa State Quarter with a double die, 1970s Washington Quarter struck on a Canadian coin. Each has its own unique story and can fetch thousands. Let's be honest. Hunting for rare coins is part detective work, part treasure hunt, and part history lesson, and unlike a lot of hobbies, this one could actually pay you back in huge dividends. Plus, it gives you a great excuse to carry around a magnifying glass and look like Sherlock Holmes while you inspect your spare change. Wisconsin was the 30th state admitted to the Union. The quarter's design was chosen after a statewide competition. Some conspiracy theorists believe the extra leaf was a protest against corporate agriculture. The most famous example of this error was discovered in a bankroll in Denver. The 2004 Wisconsin quarter. An unassuming coin with a little leaf that can change your life. If you're feeling inspired, go grab those jars of coins and start searching. You never know, your $1 million payday might be waiting right in your kitchen drawer. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm always here to bring you more tips, stories, and strategies to turn coins into cash. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who could use a little extra luck. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Ever heard the saying, one man's pocket change is another man's $1 million payday? Well, buckle up because today I'm about to prove that's not just a catchy phrase, it's a golden opportunity jingling right under your couch cushions. Imagine you're digging in your old piggy bank, half expecting a few dusty quarters and maybe a button or two, and bam, you find a coin that's worth more than a Lamborghini. Today, we're talking about one unassuming little beauty, the 2000p South Carolina $quarter. Sounds ordinary, right? Wrong. This coin is currently fetching a jaw-dropping $1.4 million on the market. That's right, if you've got one, you're basically sitting on the down payment for a mansion or a lifetime supply of tacos, whichever you prefer. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why this quarter is worth a fortune, how to spot one in the wild, and how you can turn your spare change into serious cash. So grab your magnifying glass, pour yourself some coffee, and let's dive deep into this coin collecting adventure. Let's kick things off with a bit of background. Back in 2000, the U.S. Mint released the South Carolina State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program, a series that had everyone from your grandma to your next-door neighbor hoarding coins in coffee cans. But what makes this particular South Carolina quarter, minted in Philadelphia and marked with that little P, so special? It's not just nostalgia. It's the combination of rarity, demand, and unique minting quirks that set this coin apart from the millions of others minted that year. And now, before you sprint to your sock drawer, let's go over the key characteristics you need to look for. On the front, you'll see George Washington, looking stoic as ever. The date 2000 is stamped below, and the little P mint mark sits to the right. On the back, there's the outline of South Carolina with a star where the capital, Columbia, is. There's also a Carolina wren, a yellow jessamine flower, and a palmetto tree, a whole little nature diorama right on your coin. To command $1 million+ price tag, your coin has to be in top-notch condition. We're talking about grades like MS68 or higher, mint state, nearly flawless, as if it leapt from the press into a velvet-lined box. If you've got one that looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, sorry, but it's probably worth just 25 cents. And now, here's where it gets juicy, some 2000p South Carolina quarters have rare errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or dramatic die cracks. Collectors drool over these. One of the most valuable known examples has a double die obverse combined with pristine luster. That's the stuff $1,000,000 dreams are made of. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clear out his garage. He had this big old Folgers coffee can stuffed to the brim with coins, pennies, nickels, and, of course, state quarters. I remember joking, "Maybe there's $1,000,000 coin in here." He laughed, but we decided to look anyway. We spent 3 hours sorting them out, and while we didn't find a South Carolina jackpot, we did discover a rare Wisconsin extra leaf quarter worth over $1,000. He nearly fell off his stool. That's when I realized this is real money hiding in plain sight. First, demand is through the roof because collectors want a complete pristine sets of all 50 states. Second, there just aren't many MS-68 plus examples left in circulation. Finally, the numismatic market has been heating up as more people invest in tangible assets instead of digital blips. In the last decade, the value of the top-graded 2000p South Carolina quarters has climbed steadily. The current high water mark? $1.4 million for a certified gem sold at auction. That's enough to pay off debt, buy a beach house, or retire early. Take your pick. First, pull out any state quarters you've stashed away, especially rolls or old collections. Next, check the mint mark. You want that clear P. Examine the coin under bright light or a jeweler's loupe for any doubling or errors. Finally, if you think you've hit the jackpot, get it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Buyers will not pay premium prices without certification. Once your coin is certified, you have options. Sell it at auction, where fierce bidding can drive up the price. List it through a trusted dealer who specializes in high-end coins. Or, if you prefer, hang on to it as an investment and watch its value continue to rise. And hey, maybe hide it somewhere safe, like a fireproof safe, not under your mattress, because if your dog chews on it, no grading service will help you. Confusing where for an error. A beat-up coin is just a beat-up coin, skipping professional grading, selling too soon because they're impatient. Take your time. A coin worth over $1,000,000 deserves careful handling. If you're thinking, "I'll never find something like that," think again. People find these coins in estate sales, change jars, even at yard sales. The difference is knowledge and persistence. Anyone can do this, even me, and I once thought numismatics was some kind of dinosaur. Everything you need to know about the 2000p South Carolina quarter dollar. From a humble 25 cents to $1.4 million, it proves that your spare change isn't always just spare change. It could be your ticket to a brand new life. Before you go racing off to check your stash, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I post weekly guides on coins worth serious money, practical selling strategies, and the insider tips that can help you turn collecting into a life-changing hobby. And if you've got a coin story of your own, or maybe you've already found one of these elusive South Carolina quarters, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about it.